the twin suns of Ardelia dipped low into the horizon, casting soft gold and pink colors across the sky. The waves lapped gently at the shore, glowing faintly in shades of blue and green, as if the ocean itself carried tiny stars. Lena stood at the edge of the beach, letting the cool water wash over her boots. She turned to Toma, her companion on this first mission to a new world. "This place, it feels alive," she whispered. Her eyes were wide with wonder, reflecting the shimmer of the bioluminescent sand. Toma smiled, adjusting the straps of his backpack. "It's like nothing I've ever seen," he said. "Even the wind sounds different here, so calm, so peaceful." They had arrived at Ardelia just hours before, after a long journey through space. Their ship, a sleek silver vessel designed for planetary exploration, sat anchored near the cliffs at the northern edge of the beach. Ardelia was known among scientists as a planet of rare beauty, oceans that glowed at night, skies that danced with color, and creatures that could only exist in legends. Yet, despite its serenity, Lena felt a twinge of nervousness. "Remember, the locals warned us to be careful after dark," she said, scanning the beach. "They said the nights hold surprises." Toma nodded. "I know. But maybe some surprises are worth seeing." As they walked along the shoreline, they noticed faint patterns forming in the sand. Some looked like spirals, while others were straight lines that seemed to pulse faintly under their feet. "Do you see that?" Toma asked, kneeling to examine a glowing line. "It's almost like the sand itself is sending a message." Before Lena could reply, soft footsteps echoed behind them. Turning quickly, she saw 3 figures approaching. They were humanoid but taller than humans, with smooth, pale skin and eyes that sparkled in the night. Each wore simple clothing made of flowing fabrics that seemed to shift colors with the light. "Welcome to our shore," one of them said in a gentle voice. "I am Emma, and these are my friends, Nero and Lila. You are the first humans to visit this beach in many years." Lena and Toma bowed slightly, showing respect. "We are honored," Lena said. "Your planet is beautiful." Emma smiled. "Beauty is easy to see. Wisdom and care, however, are harder to understand. The beach at night has many secrets. Watch closely, and you may learn them." The locals guided them to a small settlement near the dunes. Small huts glowed softly, powered by natural energy sources, and the air was filled with a faint, sweet scent from nearby plants. Lena noticed the sea creatures swimming near the shore, tiny, glowing fish that moved like living lights. She reached out her hand, and one floated near her fingertips before darting back into the waves. "That's incredible," she breathed. "Everything here, it feels connected." Toma, meanwhile, had noticed something strange. At the far edge of the beach, near the cliffs, a faint light pulsed from under the sand. It was subtle, almost hidden, but it caught his attention. "Lena," he said quietly, "look over there. Something is buried under the sand." Lena squinted. "What is it?" "I don't know yet. But it looks deliberate," Toma replied. "Not natural." Emma seemed to notice their curiosity. "Some things are not meant to be touched without understanding. The sands remember all who walk upon them. Come morning, you may explore. For now, watch, listen, and learn." As they settled near the dunes, the stars appeared in the sky. They were brighter than any Lena had ever seen on Earth. Each one seemed to twinkle with its own rhythm, creating a gentle, mesmerizing dance above them. The waves whispered stories that felt older than time itself. Lena lay back on the sand, letting the warmth and glow surround her. "This night, it's perfect," she said softly. Toma sat beside her, gazing at the glowing waves. "And to think," he replied, "we're only at the beginning. Who knows what tomorrow will bring?" The beach seemed alive with possibilities. Unknown creatures might glide beneath the waves, ancient secrets might lie under the sands, and stories older than humans could be waiting to be discovered. Yet, amidst all this mystery, Lena and Toma felt a deep connection to the world around them, a reminder that the universe was vast, strange, and filled with beauty worth protecting. As the twin suns vanished completely and the night deepened, the glow of the sand became stronger, reflecting off the gentle waves. Lena and Toma knew they had entered a world unlike any other, and that the nights on Ardelia's beach would change them forever. And somewhere beneath the glowing sands, something stirred, as if aware that humans had finally arrived. The next night, the beach looked even more magical than the first. The twin suns had long disappeared beyond the horizon, and the soft glow of the sand lit the shore like tiny lanterns. Lena and Toma walked carefully along the shoreline, each step leaving a faint, sparkling trace behind them. "I wonder if the patterns in the sand from yesterday will still be there," Lena said, scanning the ground. They looked almost like someone had drawn them on purpose. Toma pointed ahead. "Look. There." Half buried in the sand near the edge of the waves was something that did not belong. It was a small, metallic object, smooth and round, with faint lights pulsing from inside. As the glowing waves lapped near it, the light from the object seemed to respond, brightening slightly with each wave. "It's beautiful," Lena whispered, crouching down. She brushed the sand away carefully. "But, what is it?" Toma knelt beside her. "I've never seen anything like this. It doesn't look natural. It's like it was made by someone intelligent." The object hummed softly when Lena's fingers touched it. The light inside pulsed in a gentle rhythm, almost like it was alive. Lena's heart raced. She had seen advanced technology before, but this felt different, almost magical. Suddenly, a soft voice spoke behind them. "Do not touch it." They turned to see Emma standing at the edge of the dunes, her eyes serious. "That object has been here for many cycles. It is not dangerous if treated with care, but it is sensitive to those who do not understand." Lena looked at Toma, and then back at Emma. "We only want to study it," she said. "We don't want to harm it." Emma nodded. "I believe you. But you must be patient. The object has a purpose, and it will reveal itself in its own time. The beach at night is full of secrets. Some are ready to be seen, while others must wait." Toma examined the device more closely. Tiny symbols glowed faintly on its surface, shapes that seemed to shift when he moved his eyes. "It almost looks like it's trying to communicate," he said. "But I can't understand it, not yet." Lena traced a finger along one of the glowing lines. Suddenly, the object brightened, sending a pulse through the sand that traveled in a straight line toward the dunes. Lena and Toma looked at each other in surprise. The light faded slowly, leaving a faint pattern in the sand, one that matched the spirals and lines they had seen yesterday. "It's giving us a map," Lena said in a whisper. "I think it wants us to follow it." Emma shook her head gently. "Maps can be dangerous. They may lead you to knowledge you are not ready to handle. But curiosity is strong in humans. If you follow it, be careful, and respect the place you explore." Toma took a deep breath. "We have to see where it leads. This could be the discovery of a lifetime." They followed the glowing lines across the beach, careful not to disturb the sand too much. The patterns led them past pools of glowing water and tiny creatures that shimmered in the moonlight. Some creatures darted through the waves, leaving trails of light behind them. Lena felt a thrill of excitement. This was like stepping into another world. After some time, the lines led them to a small cliff at the northern edge of the beach. There, hidden in the sand, was a shallow hole, its edges glowing faintly from the object's light. Toma knelt and brushed the sand aside. At the bottom lay the same object, but this time, it had opened slightly, revealing a small screen-like surface with more glowing symbols. "It's like it wants us to understand something," Lena said. She reached out slowly. The moment her fingers touched the screen, images flashed briefly, shapes of strange structures, creatures moving in harmony with the glowing water, and a sky filled with lights. Then the images vanished as quickly as they had appeared. Emma's voice was calm but firm. "Do not force it. Watch and wait. The object will show you more when it deems you ready. Many before you have tried to take knowledge without patience, and they failed." Lena and Toma exchanged a glance. "We'll be careful," Lena said. "We want to learn, not take." As the night deepened, they stayed near the glowing object, observing it and the gentle waves around them. The stars above seemed to shine brighter as if they, too, were watching. Slowly, Lena began to understand the rhythm of the object's light, and Toma noted the patterns in his journal. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "Something tells me the nights on this beach are going to teach us more than we imagined." Lena smiled, feeling a mixture of excitement and wonder. The soft hum of the device, the glow of the waves, and the calm presence of Emma reminded them that they were not alone. The beach was alive in its own way, and tonight, it had begun to share its secrets. As the wind whispered across the glowing sands, Lena and Toma realized that Ardelia was more than a beautiful planet. It was a place full of knowledge, mystery, and life ready to be understood by those who respected it. And somewhere beneath the sands, the device pulsed, waiting for the next step in its silent story. The night air was cool and crisp as Lena and Toma returned to the glowing sands. The beach seemed quieter tonight, but the waves shimmered more brightly than before, as if sensing their excitement. The device they had discovered days ago pulsed softly in the sand, waiting for their return. "It feels like it's expecting us," Lena whispered, kneeling beside it. She ran her fingers gently along the smooth surface. The lights inside began to pulse faster, in a rhythm that almost felt like a heartbeat. Toma watched closely, his eyes reflecting the soft glow. "Last night it only showed images. Tonight, I think it wants to communicate." Suddenly, a faint beam of light shot upward from the device, reaching high into the night sky. The stars seemed to bend around it, forming patterns that neither Lena nor Toma had seen before. Lines of light connected from the beach into the sky, twisting and turning like threads in a giant cosmic tapestry. "It's a map," Toma said, his voice trembling slightly with awe. "I don't understand all of it yet, but it's showing us a path, somewhere." Lena studied the light. "It looks like it's pointing toward the cliffs, and beyond them. Maybe under the sand, or inside some hidden structure." She traced the glowing lines with her finger, feeling a surge of curiosity and excitement. Before they could move, Emma appeared silently behind them. "The device is old, older than any of us. It carries the wisdom of your ancestors, and ours. It shows what is necessary for those who are ready. But not all knowledge is safe. You must be careful." "We will," Lena said firmly. "We want to learn, not harm." Emma nodded, her eyes reflecting the light from the device. Then follow the signal. But do not hurry. Listen to the beach. It will guide you. Encouraged, Lena and Toma followed the glowing patterns as they stretched across the sands. The light twisted around rocks, over pools of glowing water, and between patches of strange, bioluminescent plants. Some of the plants reacted to their presence, their leaves shimmering more brightly as they passed. The beach seemed alive, almost as if it were guiding them carefully toward some hidden secret. After a while, the path led them to a low dune, behind which the light vanished suddenly. Toma crouched down and brushed the sand aside. His fingers touched a hard surface beneath, cold and smooth. Lena leaned in. It was the edge of a doorway, partially buried under layers of sand and glowing moss. "This must be it," Lena said, her voice hushed. "The device was leading us here." Toma carefully cleared more sand, revealing a carved archway. Strange symbols, similar to those on the device, decorated the stone. They glowed faintly, responding to the light from the device. "It looks ancient, like it has been waiting for someone to arrive," he said. Lena paused for a moment, taking in the scene. "Do you think we should go inside?" she asked, a mixture of excitement and caution in her voice. Emma's voice came softly from behind. "Inside is safe if you respect it. Many who came before you failed because they were impatient. Go slowly. Observe. Learn." With careful steps, Lena and Toma entered the archway. The light from the device followed, illuminating a narrow tunnel under the dunes. The walls glowed faintly, showing more symbols and patterns. The air was cool and smelled faintly of salt and stone. As they moved deeper, the tunnel opened into a larger chamber. The device floated slightly above the ground, casting beams of light onto a crystalline structure in the center. The structure pulsed in time with the device, and tiny lights danced across the walls like stars. Toma reached out, keeping his hand close to the device but not touching it. "It's showing us something important," he said. "A story, or maybe instructions." Lena nodded. "It's like the device is alive. It wants to guide us, not just show us images. Everything here is connected: the beach, the water, the sand, even the stars." They spent hours observing the patterns and glowing symbols, trying to understand the message. Slowly, Toma began to see a rhythm, a connection between the device and the crystalline structure. Each pulse seemed to mark a location, a step in a path that led to more knowledge buried under the beach. Finally, Lena spoke. "This isn't just a map. It's a signal, a call to explore, to learn. But we have to be careful. The beach and its secrets are alive. We can't rush." Toma smiled. "Then we'll follow it, one step at a time. The nights on this beach are teaching us patience, and maybe something even greater." As they left the chamber and returned to the surface, the first hint of dawn touched the horizon. The glowing sand dimmed slightly, as if the beach itself was resting. Lena and Toma looked at each other, knowing that the signal had opened a door to a new adventure, one that would test their courage, curiosity, and respect for this beautiful, mysterious world. And somewhere beneath the sands, the device pulsed softly, ready to guide the next step in their journey. The beach was quiet that night, but Lena could feel the tension in the air. The glowing sand shimmered under the light of the stars, reflecting in the gentle waves. Toma adjusted his backpack and glanced at her. "Are you ready?" he asked. Lena nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be. The device is calling us deeper tonight." Together, they followed the faint glow of the device across the beach, toward the cliffs where the crystalline structure awaited. The path was no longer simple. The sand beneath their feet seemed softer, shifting as they stepped, and the glowing patterns that had guided them before were now faint, almost like the beach was testing them. Suddenly, the ground trembled lightly. Lena stumbled, catching herself on a rock. "What was that?" she whispered. Toma looked around. "I think the beach is alive in more ways than we imagined. We need to be careful." The closer they got to the hidden chamber, the more unusual the environment became. Strange, glowing plants emerged from the sand, their leaves moving as if sensing them. Small creatures darted between the waves, leaving trails of light. But there were also shadows, shapes that moved just beyond the glow, watching silently. As they reached the base of the cliffs, a low rumble echoed through the night. The crystalline structure above them pulsed with light, and the device floated slightly higher, spinning slowly. Lena felt a mix of fear and excitement. "It's like it's alive," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Emma's voice came softly behind them. "The guardians of the beach will test all who seek knowledge. You must respect their rules, or the path will close to you." "What do we do?" Lena asked, glancing at Toma. "Stay calm. Watch and listen," he replied. They began climbing the cliffs, following the glowing trail left by the device. The path was narrow, and small stones rolled beneath their feet. At one point, Lena had to reach across a glowing crevice to grab a sturdy rock on the other side. The challenge tested their balance, their patience, and their ability to work together. Halfway up, the cliffs shook more violently. A small rock slide began, and they had to move quickly to avoid falling debris. Lena caught a loose branch and held on tightly while Toma pulled her to safety. "We have to trust the beach," Toma said, breathing heavily. "It's guiding us, but it also wants us to be careful." Finally, they reached the top of the cliffs. The crystalline structure glowed brightly, its pulses in rhythm with the device floating above the sand below. But the entrance was blocked by an unusual energy field, shimmering like a curtain of light. Every step toward it caused the field to ripple, as if testing their intention. Lena held out her hand. "Do you think it will let us pass?" Toma nodded slowly. "I think it knows we mean no harm. Let's try." They stepped forward together. The energy field shimmered, then parted, allowing them to enter. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of salt and stone. The walls glowed softly with symbols and patterns that seemed alive, moving slowly as if breathing. The chamber was larger than anything they had imagined, with crystalline pillars stretching high above them. At the center of the room, the device hovered above a small pedestal, its light pulsing in a steady rhythm. As Lena approached, the patterns on the walls shifted, forming lines that seemed to guide her steps. Toma followed, taking careful notes and observing every detail. Suddenly, a low hum filled the chamber. Shadows flickered across the walls, forming shapes that resembled the creatures of the beach. Lena froze for a moment, unsure if they were real or illusions. Then she remembered Emma's words: the guardians would test them, not harm them. Taking a deep breath, she focused on the light from the device. "We're here to learn," she said softly. "We respect this place." The shadows paused, then slowly receded into the walls. The chamber seemed to relax, the pulsing of the device slowing slightly as if acknowledging their respect. Toma exhaled, relief flooding his face. "We passed the first test," he said. Lena smiled. "It wasn't easy, but we did it together. And I think the beach is starting to trust us." They spent the rest of the night exploring the chamber, observing the glowing symbols and crystalline pillars. Each pulse of the device seemed to reveal more about the structure, hinting at knowledge buried deep beneath the sands. Lena and Toma realized that every challenge they faced was part of the lesson. Patience, observation, and respect were as important as courage. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, the energy field at the entrance shimmered and then disappeared. The beach outside was calm again, waves glowing softly, and the cliffs silent. Lena and Toma knew that the challenges of the night had prepared them for what lay ahead. The nights on this beach were no longer just about discovery, they were about understanding, growing, and proving that they could earn the secrets the planet held. And somewhere deep beneath the sands, the device pulsed gently, ready to guide the next step of their journey. The glow of the beach stretched like a ribbon of stars as Lena and Toma approached the crystalline chamber once more. The device floated ahead, pulsing softly in rhythm with the waves. Tonight, it seemed to shine brighter, as if eager to reveal its next secret. "This feels different," Lena said, her eyes reflecting the light. "Like we're very close to something important." Toma nodded. "I think the device is ready to show us more. Let's be careful, though. The beach tests us, remember." They followed the device as it guided them across the sands, past pools of glowing water and clusters of luminescent plants. The air was filled with a soft hum, almost like a song, and the waves whispered gently against the shore. The patterns in the sand formed a clear path, leading them to a part of the cliffs they had not explored before. At the base of the cliffs, the ground sloped downward, forming a hidden entrance covered by a thin layer of glowing sand. Lena brushed the sand aside, revealing an arched doorway carved into the stone. Symbols glowed faintly on its surface, matching the patterns on the device. "This must be it," Toma whispered. "The temple the device has been leading us to." Emma's voice echoed softly behind them. "The knowledge within is powerful. But remember, respect and patience are as important as curiosity." Lena and Toma exchanged a glance. Nodding to each other, they stepped through the doorway. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of salt and stone, mixed with a strange, sweet fragrance. The chamber was enormous, filled with crystalline structures that reflected the soft light of the device. Tiny streams of glowing energy flowed along the floor, forming intricate patterns that seemed to move with purpose. The device hovered above a pedestal in the center of the room, its light pulsing steadily. As Lena approached, holographic images appeared, projected from the device into the air. She gasped softly. The images showed creatures moving gracefully through glowing waters, plants reacting to touch, and structures that resembled the chamber around them but far older. Toma studied the projections closely. "These are histories. Stories of this planet. And look, some of the figures, they resemble humans." Lena's eyes widened. "Humans? Here? But, how?" The device pulsed brighter, projecting a clear image, a group of humans standing on the beach, interacting peacefully with the Ardalian creatures and structures. Symbols above them matched the ones they had seen on the device. Lena and Toma realized that these humans had come long ago, leaving the device as a guide for future visitors. This is incredible," Lena breathed. "Humans were here before. We're connected to this place, somehow." Toma reached out, careful not to touch the device directly. "It's like a message across time. They wanted someone to continue learning, someone who respects the beach." The images shifted, showing the flow of energy through the land, the balance between creatures, plants, and the glowing sands. Lena understood that the temple was not just a building, it was a record of harmony, a guide for those willing to observe and understand. This knowledge, it could help humanity, Thomas said quietly. Imagine what we could learn about energy, balance, and living in harmony with nature. Lena nodded slowly. Yes, but it's also a responsibility. The device and the temple are protected for a reason. If we take this knowledge without care, we could harm this world. Emma's voice echoed softly, carrying across the chamber. Wisdom is more important than knowledge. The past teaches you, but the choice is yours. Will you take what you find, or will you honor the balance? Lena and Tomo looked at each other, understanding the gravity of the moment. They had discovered the history of Ardelia, the connection between humans and the planet, and the secrets hidden beneath the glowing sands. But the choice to use this knowledge wisely was theirs alone. Toma stepped closer to the projections, tracing a pattern with his hand. The temple shows us how to live in balance, not just here, but everywhere. That is the real lesson. Lena smiled softly. Then we learn. We understand. And we promise to protect what we've discovered. That is the right choice. As they left the temple, the first light of Ardelia's twin suns touched the horizon. The glowing sand dimmed slightly, and the waves whispered gently against the shore. Lena and Toma knew that what they had learned tonight was more than history, it was a lesson in respect, patience, and understanding. The beach had revealed its secrets, but only to those who were ready. And somewhere beneath the glowing sands, the device pulsed gently, as if satisfied that its message had been received. Lena and Toma walked along the shore in silence, each step leaving a sparkling trace behind them. They understood that the journey was only beginning, and that the nights on this beach held many more lessons to teach, lessons about courage, curiosity, and the power of living in harmony with the world around them. The night air was calm, and the glowing waves shimmered gently as Lena and Toma returned to the beach. The crystalline temple stood behind them, quiet and majestic, as if waiting for their decision. The device hovered in the sand, pulsing softly, casting a gentle light over their faces. Toma knelt beside it, studying the patterns of light. We have the knowledge now, he said. Energy flows, balance, the history of this planet, everything the device has revealed. We could take it with us to Earth. Lena gazed at the glowing sands. The waves whispered softly, and the wind carried the faint, sweet scent of Ardelia's plants. Yes, but if we take it without care, we might destroy the balance. The beach, the creatures, the energy, it could all be harmed. Toma nodded slowly. Emma's words come back to me. Wisdom is more important than knowledge. We have to choose wisely. They walked along the shore, the device floating ahead, leading them toward a small cliff overlooking the ocean. From this height, the beach stretched endlessly, glowing in soft blues and greens. The patterns in the sand seemed to move, forming images of harmony and life thriving in balance. Lena felt a deep connection to the place, as if the beach itself was speaking to her. I think the device is showing us what is really important, Lena said softly. It's not about taking the knowledge for ourselves, it's about understanding it, and leaving it protected. Toma studied the glowing patterns. If we take the knowledge, Earth could benefit, but we might lose the trust of this world. The beach and the temple are alive in a way we can barely understand. We can't risk upsetting it. Lena reached out and touched the glowing sand. A soft pulse traveled through her hand, like a heartbeat. She smiled. I feel it. The beach is alive. It knows who respects it, and who does not. We can leave the knowledge here, and still learn from it. We don't need to take it all with us. Toma took a deep breath. Then we choose to honor the planet, not just our curiosity. We respect the Guardian's wisdom. The device pulsed brighter, as if responding to their decision. Light flowed from it, tracing the symbols in the sand and forming a path that led back to the crystalline temple. The chamber inside glowed warmly, welcoming them. Lena and Toma entered, kneeling before the pedestal where the device hovered. "Tonight, we honor you," Lena whispered. "We will learn, we will respect, and we will protect what you have shared." The device pulsed in response, sending waves of gentle light through the chamber. The holographic images of the Ardalian history appeared once more, showing humans and Ardalian creatures coexisting peacefully. Lena and Toma watched quietly, understanding the depth of the lesson. True strength comes not from taking, but from learning, respecting, and using knowledge wisely. Toma smiled softly. "This is the real discovery. Not the technology, not the energy, but the wisdom. Humanity's greatest gift is not to conquer, but to understand and protect." Lena nodded. "And this beach, this planet, has shown us what that really means." They spent the night observing, learning, and recording their notes carefully. They did not remove the device from the temple, nor did they disturb the energy patterns that flowed through the chamber. Instead, they focused on understanding the rhythms, the balance, and the connections between life, energy, and the glowing sands. As dawn approached, the first light of Ardalia's twin suns touched the horizon. The device pulsed one last time, then gently lowered itself onto the pedestal. The chamber glowed softly, calm and peaceful. Lena and Toma stepped outside, feeling a sense of fulfillment unlike anything they had known. The beach seemed to recognize their respect. The waves glimmered brighter, and the soft whispers of the night carried a feeling of harmony. Lena and Toma walked along the shore, hand in hand, understanding that their journey was not about taking knowledge for themselves, but about carrying the lesson forward to Earth, to humanity, and to themselves. Emma appeared quietly at the edge of the dunes, her eyes shining with approval. "You have chosen wisely," she said. "The knowledge here is safe, and so are you. Remember, true wisdom comes from respect, patience, and understanding. You have honored the speech, and it will remember you." Lena smiled. "We will never forget." Toma added, "And we will use what we have learned, not to take, but to inspire others to respect the world around them." The twin suns rose higher, casting long shadows across the glowing sands. Lena and Toma looked out at the horizon, knowing that the nights on this beach had taught them more than any journey before. They had discovered beauty, history, and wisdom, but most importantly, they had learned the meaning of respect, restraint, and harmony. And somewhere beneath the glowing sands, the device pulsed softly, a silent guardian of the lessons it had shared, waiting for those who would come with pure hearts and minds ready to learn. Lena and Toma turned to leave the beach, their hearts full of hope, understanding that the true treasure of Ardelia was not in what they could take but in what they could honor, protect, and pass forward. The morning air was calm as Lena and Toma stood at the edge of the glowing beach. The twin suns of Ardelia had risen fully, casting warm light across the sand and illuminating the gentle waves. The crystalline temple behind them glimmered softly, its secrets safely preserved beneath the surface. Lena took a deep breath, feeling the salty wind brush against her face. "It feels different," she said quietly. "Like the beach is saying goodbye." Toma nodded, looking out at the shimmering horizon. "We've learned so much here. Not just about this planet, but about ourselves and humanity. We can take that lesson anywhere." The device floated gently above the sand one last time, pulsing softly, as if acknowledging their respect. Lena smiled. "I think it knows we understand its message." We didn't take its knowledge, we honored it. That's what mattered most. They began walking slowly toward their ship, leaving sparkling footprints in the glowing sand. Every step felt heavy with meaning, yet light with hope. The beach had tested them, guided them, and revealed the story of Ardelia's history. But it had also taught them the greatest lesson of all: true strength lies in wisdom, patience, and respect. As they reached the northern cliffs, Lena looked down at the waves. Small glowing creatures swam near the shore, leaving trails of light in their wake. She crouched to observe them. "They're beautiful," she said softly. "And they trust us. That means something." Thomas studied the patterns in the sand. Every detail here, the waves, the plants, the creatures, even the stars above, they all work together. It's a balance we need to carry back to Earth, in our own way. Emma appeared quietly beside them, her presence calm and reassuring. "You have learned what many fail to understand," she said. "Respect is the path to wisdom. Knowledge without understanding can destroy, but understanding without greed preserves all." Lena bowed her head slightly. "We promise to remember, and to teach others what we have learned. Humanity must respect what it cannot fully control." Toma added, "And we will use our knowledge not to conquer, but to protect. To live in balance, just like Ardelia has shown us." The soft glow of the sand seemed to brighten for a moment, as if in approval. The beach, the waves, and the creatures appeared to shimmer in harmony, acknowledging the respect the humans had shown. Lena felt a warmth in her heart, a deep connection to this place that she knew would never fade. As they approached their ship, Toma paused. "Do you think we'll ever return?" he asked. Lena smiled, looking back at the glowing beach. "Perhaps. But even if we don't, the lessons stay with us. That's what matters. The beach, the temple, the device, they've changed us forever." They stepped aboard their ship, the engines humming softly. Lena took one last look out at the shore. The sand sparkled beneath the twin suns, the waves whispered gently, and the distant cliffs glimmered with quiet majesty. The beach had given them knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration, and in return, they had given it respect. The ship lifted smoothly into the sky, leaving the glowing sands behind. Lena and Toma watched as the beach shrank beneath them, yet it remained vivid in their minds. The memories of nights spent exploring, observing, and learning were alive, glowing brighter than any star. Toma reached for Lena's hand. "We've changed," he said. "Not because of what we saw, but because of how we responded. That's humanity at its best." Lena squeezed his hand. "Yes. HFY isn't just about reaching the stars, it's about rising to the challenge of understanding them, and using what we learn with care." The ship moved farther from the planet, the twin suns casting long, golden reflections across the waves. Lena closed her eyes, feeling the pulse of Ardelia's energy still alive in her mind. Every glowing creature, every pattern in the sand, every pulse of the device, all of it was part of a story that had changed her forever. "Goodbye, Ardelia," she whispered softly. "Thank you for teaching us how to be better, how to respect, and how to learn without taking more than we should." Toma smiled. "And thank you for showing us that the universe is full of wonders and that humans can rise to meet them, not by force, but by understanding and care." The ship soared higher, leaving the glowing beach behind. Yet Lena and Toma knew the lessons they carried would continue to guide them, and through them, humanity could learn to live in balance with the stars. The nights on the beach were over for now, but the light of Ardelia, the wisdom of the device, and the memory of its glowing sands would shine forever in their hearts. And somewhere beneath the sands, the device pulsed gently, a silent guardian of the planet's secrets, ready for the next travelers who would arrive with respect and open hearts.